Suing a Daycare for Negligence, Step-by-Step Guide. When the daycare facility or daycare provider fails to provide adequate standards of care, the injured child's guardians or parents may seek a personal injury claim to hold the daycare center providers accountable for their negligence. Common signs of daycare abuse. The signs of daycare negligence and abuse are not always similar. Identifying the signs early on is essential for timely action. Common signs of daycare abuse include unexplained injuries, frequent injuries that don't have a clear explanation or that the daycare staff cannot adequately explain could indicate a lack of supervision or intentional harm. Severe injuries like fractures or sprains without a reasonable cause could also be a sign of physical abuse or serious neglect in monitoring the children. Any unusual or patterned injuries, such as burns or bite marks, should be taken seriously and investigated immediately. Changes in behavior. If a child suddenly becomes afraid of going to daycare or exhibits extreme anxiety when discussing their time there, it could be a sign of something amiss. Behavioral changes like becoming aggressive, overly quiet, or withdrawn may indicate that the child is dealing with stress or trauma, possibly related to daycare. Signs of developmental regression, such as bedwetting, thumb-sucking, or fear of the dark, could signal emotional distress. Poor supervision. If a child regularly complains about fights or bullying at daycare, it may indicate that the staff is not adequately supervising the children. Observing children left unattended or wandering around the facility unsupervised is a red flag that the daycare is not providing the level of care required. Hazardous play areas. Play areas with broken, outdated, or unsafe equipment increase the risk of injuries and show a lack of commitment to maintaining a secure environment for the children. The absence of necessary safety measures, such as cushioned surfaces around playgrounds, secure gates, and restricted access to dangerous areas, can indicate negligence. Inadequate staffing or training. Frequent changes in staff members can disrupt the consistency of care and indicate underlying issues within the daycare's management. If you notice that the facility is always busy and its employees are running around doing multiple tasks at once, it's a clear sign of understaffing. An understaffed daycare center increases the risk of neglect-related accidents or incidents. Proving daycare injury or abuse. Proving that the daycare providers are acting negligently requires parents or guardians to provide sufficient evidence to establish liability. To prove liability, parents must prove these four elements. 1. Duty of care. The daycare center was legally obligated to provide a safe environment and adequately care for the child. 2. Breach of duty. The daycare center failed to meet its duty of care, either through action. 3. Causation. The breach of duty directly caused the child's injury. 4. Damages. The injury resulted in actual harm, such as medical expenses, pain and suffering, or emotional distress. These elements must be proven with evidence in order to make a viable claim against a daycare provider. What to do after a daycare injury? If your child is injured at a daycare due to the facility's negligent actions, here's what you can do to prove negligence and hold the liable employee or facility accountable for their errors. Steps to take after a daycare injury include: 1. Seek medical attention. Ensure the child receives immediate medical care for their injuries. Obtain detailed medical records to document the extent of the injury. 2. Document the incident. Assemble evidence such as pictures of the injury and the scene, witness reports, and any correspondence with the daycare staff. 3. Report the injury. Inform the daycare center about the incident and ensure it's documented in their records. Some states require formal incident reports for daycare facilities. 4. Consult an attorney. It is advisable to consult a personal injury attorney specializing in daycare injury cases to understand your legal options and the next steps. How to file a daycare injury lawsuit. The process of a daycare injury lawsuit involves several critical steps to hold the daycare center accountable for negligence or abuse that resulted in a child's injury. Steps to filing a daycare injury lawsuit include: Step 1. Report the injury. Report the injury to the daycare center as soon as it happens. Request that they create a written incident report detailing the circumstances of the injury, who was present, and how it was handled. In some states, it may be necessary to file a complaint with the local child care licensing agency or Child Protective Services, especially if you suspect that the injury resulted from abuse or serious neglect. Keep a record of all communications with the daycare center regarding the injury, including emails, letters, and conversations. Step 2. Seek medical care. Make sure your child receives prompt medical care for their injuries. Keep all medical records, doctor's notes, and receipts, as these documents will be crucial in proving the extent and cause of the injury. A detailed medical evaluation can help establish a clear link between the injury and any negligence or unsafe conditions at the daycare center. Step 3. Gather evidence. Collecting strong evidence is vital to supporting your claim that the daycare's negligence caused your child's injury. Crucial types of evidence include photographs and videos. Take pictures or videos of the child's injuries, as well as any unsafe conditions or hazards at the daycare that may have contributed to the incident. Witness statements. Obtain statements from staff members, other parents, or anyone else who witnessed the injury or has relevant information about the daycare's environment and practices. Daycare policies and procedures. Review the daycare's policies, procedures, and staff training manuals to identify any violations or gaps in safety protocols. Inspection reports. Obtain records from state or local childcare inspections to see if the daycare has a history of violations or complaints related to safety and supervision. Step 4. Consult with an attorney. Contact a personal injury attorney who specializes in daycare injury cases. This expert can assess the facts of your case, help determine whether the daycare was negligent, and advise on the best course of action. Your attorney will develop a legal strategy tailored to your specific case, which may involve negotiations with the daycare's insurance company or filing a formal lawsuit. Step 5. Initiate daycare injury lawsuit. If your attorney determines that the daycare was negligent and negotiations do not lead to a fair settlement, they may proceed with filing a lawsuit. Your attorney will draft and file a formal complaint in the appropriate court. This document outlines your claims against the daycare center, detailing how their negligence caused your child's injury and the financial compensation you are seeking. From there, your attorney will work to get you and your child compensated for the damages that you have incurred as a result of the daycare injury. What compensation you may recover from a daycare injury lawsuit. In daycare negligence cases, families can receive various compensation to cover the damages resulting from a child's injury. Impacts and consequences can include medical expenses, pain and suffering, missed work, long-term care and support, educational support, punitive damages, other losses and expenses. An experienced daycare injury lawyer is crucial in accurately calculating the full extent of your child's damages. The lawyer will consider the child's immediate needs and the injury's long-term impacts to seek the compensation that reflects the costs associated with the daycare's negligence. If you're unsure how to go about your potential legal steps, our experienced daycare injury lawyer at TorHoerman Law can help you. Contact us for a free case evaluation. You can also use the chatbot on our website, Floyer.com, to instantly find out if you qualify for the daycare injury lawsuit.